Well, let's switch gears now to politics, the Labour Party politics. Jeffrey.
Let's bring in Mr. Arabambi. He's one of the spokespersons of the Labour Party. Mr. Arabambi, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Happy New Year.
I wish you the same. What is playing out in your party? INEC has now spoken clearly to say they do not recognize the Julius Abure-led leadership of the Labour Party based on the reference to that court judgment, I think, in April, as we speak. So they will not be sending codes to you to be able to upload candidates for the FCT area council election that is taking place next month. What do you make of INEC's position as far as this election is concerned?
Well, I think the point is very clear, and let me quickly make a correction. I am now the National Vice Chairman, Southwest of Labour Party, from our NEC meeting, last year. For INEC, I think the person that signed that document, I really don't know whether she has that capacity or she's a lawyer. Because in law, there is something they call ratio decidency and obiter, dictum. When a judge, give an opinion, I want the NBA, if she's a lawyer, I want the NBA to quickly, take a look at such, people within the law profession. When a judge advises, it is not binding. A judge is advising political party generally. Oh, when your tenure expires, endeavor to do an election, or you give yourself an extension and say, may I admonish? Let me admonish all political party. But I don't know where this woman that signed that letter, whether if she's a lawyer, I think we might have to take that up with her, because she must understand, or she will go for a refresher course about what they call ratio decidency, upon which a judge will base his judgment, and what they call obiter dictum. If she doesn't understand the differences, she better go to NBA so that they will give her a lecture. Or if she has, collected money from, most of the people who are jumping ship, she can now go and be doing her business with them, because the Supreme Court is very clear. It happened in PDP, it happened in NABGA, where Supreme Court said, court lacked jurisdiction to interfere in issue of internal affairs of a political party. So I wouldn't know why certain character, I am not blaming the INEC chairman, he just came in. These are some of the characters who have been feeding facts.
My apologies, let me come in here just a moment. As much as you say your position, she's not here to defend herself. INEC has not given you code to access and upload your candidates. That's a fact, right? So I wouldn't believe that she will... Yes, hold on, just hold on.
No,
so I wouldn't believe that... Just hold on. I'm familiar with the case. So I wouldn't believe that she will write without the consent of the commission. Is that what you're telling me, that the commission is not aware of that letter?
Yes,
is that what you're saying?
I am coming. They were all together with Professor Mahmoud before, that respectable woman who, was there for some weeks before Professor Amukiton was appointed. What transpired was that they were all, most of the people, they were working with Governor Lesotho and Mr. Peter Obi, as at the time that matter was in court. But rather than for them to wait and study the judgment, where the court said, whether federal court, court of appeal, or even the Supreme Court, lack jurisdiction to entertain issue on political party, they should follow their constitution. They decided to form themselves a Labour Party too. Some people in INEC there, working with Governor Lesotho, working with, Mr. Peter Obi, who has, defected now. So what she did was that, let me tell you, in Osun State, was her candidate name was not uploaded. In Ekiti, was her candidate name not uploaded. We have a governorship candidate in this too, but but they were just trying to play to the gallery because Obi defected to ADC. That was what that woman was trying to do. They were only trying to give them a bad name, because it is not now, you will now be saying Supreme Court. When you have a chairman who's an SA that gave us code for primary that I monitor, that I did in Osun, where our government candidate has been uploaded. The one in Ekiti has been uploaded. That was just late last year, only for somebody to now wake up and say Supreme Court. May I ask her, is there anyone that can disobey the order of a Supreme Court in this country politically? When Supreme Court removed the former governor-elect in Bayelsa, he was even training. He was there making preparation for, the swearing on May 29 before Doye Durig comes in. So if somebody says Supreme Court said tenure has expired, did she think we on ourselves or the people she's supporting, Governor Otti and Peter Obi, that I said she's working for, would they not have gone to Supreme Court to seek interpretation? Supreme Court only said that court lacks jurisdiction to make pronouncement on political party, matter. But what INEC failed to realize, that is that woman. Because I was thinking it was the secretary of the commission that signed it. Secretary is not going to sign it, she's a lawyer. Now, what they did was that our convention, there was no pre-election matter against that convention, and there was no post-election matter. And it's too bad. And that was why Peter Obi decided to jump ship away from Labour Party with his co-traveler to ADC. And we're also expecting the remaining financier, Governor Otti, to follow suit so that we can have peace in our party.
Mr. Arabambi, the INEC representative who signed that statement is not here. So we'd just like to point out that what you're saying remains in the realm of allegation, especially because they're not here to defend themselves. And so, just a word of caution there. But you are saying that, this is a result of a misinterpretation of what should have been an obiter dictum. But what about the point presented by INEC that recognizing the Julius Abure-led group's candidates would be sub judice because there are cases in court, which is contending the eligibility of those candidates. That's on the one hand. And then perhaps you should tell us if or should candidates have been recognized.
That is what I'm telling you. I said all our candidates in Osun, you can go to INEC website, have been uploaded, and our candidate in Ekiti has also been uploaded. But this woman knew what she was doing. If I did it the first time, I would be seeing somebody on voter education. We are not students. We don't need a training. We don't need any of such advice from her because what she was saying is Arabambi as far as we are concerned. You don't begin to read meanings to judgment of a court. That is why I said if she does not, if she's a lawyer, the NBA needs to give her a refresher course. Because you see, some of these lawyers, a lot of them, they are out of service for some time that they don't go to court. They don't read electoral act, they don't read the constitution. I insist, and I know the NBA president is watching me.
Okay, so what?
The chief justice is watching me. Obiter dictum is not binding. It's not binding.
Mr. Arabambi, pardon me. Why was this,
if I am wrong,
this selective application to the what's it called now, to the judgment of the court? Why wasn't it applied in the case of Osun, which, according to you, INEC has uploaded your candidates for?
No, this is what happened. You see, as a lawyer, like I said, there are some of them with Professor Mahmoud who are co-travelers with some INEC staff. I'll give you an example. The issue of Action Alliance. If not until when Professor Mahmoud was committed to prison, he will not upload Rafi Omar's name. If not, he was committed. After Supreme Court judgment, they went to Osun until when he was committed for 90 days imprisonment. He quickly, when he resigned, he ran away, and they now uploaded it overnight between Friday and Saturday. Was when they uploaded that man's name when Supreme Court has given their judgment. That is the kind of people we see in this country. Now, as at the time they were doing it, they have gone to National Assembly. They thought that matter would be against us. They removed our name, they removed our logo, and they have collected money, for the National Assembly. Rather than for them to now go back to the National Assembly, we have made a mistake. We omitted Labour Party name and logo from the FCT election. They were now trying to just run the circle. And that was why when Mrs. Arabambi came in, our national chairman was invited, for the quarterly meeting, and even when Professor Amukriton, came on board. But you see, there are some of these, people in INEC who are co-traveler. I insist, they are co-traveler with Governor Otti and Mr. Peter Obi. But because that matter is settled bar, Nobody can challenge our convention. It is statute bar in court. You can't go to court about that convention. That was why you see all of them moving in droves, you know, away from our party. But like I said, our candidate in Noshun has been uploaded. Our candidate in Ekiti has also been uploaded. They have given us the access code. But the error they want to cover over because they thought that judgment would be against us in the Supreme Court. And they were already working closely, you know, with Governor Otti. They were working hand in hand with Mr. Peter Obi and all those ungrateful elements in Labour Party that went away, you know, to ADC. And we wish them well, you know, in their sojourn.
Well, these are very heavy allegations, Mr. Arabambi, and it would be good to have whatever proof you're relying on to say that indeed these officials of INEC, which is meant to be independent, are now partisan, as you claim. So it's not just a claim, there's evidence to back it. And I must also say that if you go to the INEC's website, which is part of the things people look at, and it just feels more controversy. The national chairman of the Labour Party is said to be Barrister Julius Abure, in bracket, by court order. The national secretary, Omar Farouk Ibrahim, again in bracket, court order. And it just goes on and on like that. So it's just a lot of things that are working almost against themselves. But I want you to speak to what is now happening within the Labour Party. So we saw Mr. Datti Baba-Ahmed yesterday. You were behind him, Mr. Julius Abure as well, where he made comments about him not leaving the Labour Party, not joining Mr. Peter Obi, saying that he will run for president at that meeting. And I wonder, what is the game plan here for the Labour Party? Because you still have an Inadi Usman still laying claims to lead the leadership of the party. You've lost majority of those who were elected on the platform of the Labour Party. So really, what is your game plan, Mr. Arabambi?
Well, thank you very much. You see, the crab will always tell you he has a doctor, but you see crab moving sideways. And that is why, in the word of Martin Luther King, he said the ultimate tragedy is not the oppression or cruelty of the bad people, but the silence of the good ones. That was why His Excellency Dr. Datti Baba-Ahmed came yesterday to the Labour Party Secretariat to say thank you to the cerebral, to the undisputed, to the indefatigable national leadership of Labour Party led by Barrister Julius Abure, that I want to thank you because you gave us an opportunity in 2023 that we campaign against the structure of criminality with Peter Obi. We campaign against the structure of corruption with Peter Obi. But I do not see any reason why I have to sleepwalk with him into any coalition because that formula has not changed. That fact has not changed. He came to just appreciate the party yesterday and to ask us, as you want to do more, I want to present myself. I have a lot to do for our country, but thank you first for giving me the opportunity, not like the ungrateful Mr. Peter Obi, not like the ungrateful Victor Ume, and the bunch of Senator House of Rep that we gave our ticket to free of charge. But today, the structure we campaign against, the architect of Nigerian mystery, the architect of our wars, the people that are poisoning the system are the same people they went to join who are now shamelessly presenting themselves as the Messiah.
All right, Mr. Arabambi, we're totally out of time, Mr. Arabambi. I hope when you're called upon to present all of your evidence, you'll be there. This is politics. In the words of one of the politicians I heard recently say it's a game. So we're here to give everybody a chance, a voice, to air their own opinion. But must do these things with facts and not just allegations. But must thank you. Wish your party the very best. Mr. Arabambi is the, Abayomi Arabambi is the South-South Vice Chairman of the Labour Party. Southwest, I should say. Southwest Vice Chairman of the Labour Party. I didn't know you've been elevated, but congratulations to you. So we'll be touching base with you as much as possible to see how it goes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.